Shalom, and welcome to Light of the Hill Ministry. In today's study, we will be talking about renewal of the mind. If you want to follow along, I will be posting this in the comment box below, down under the teaching. I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassion of Elohim, to present your bodies a living offering, set apart, well-pleasing to Elohim, your reasonable worship. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of Elohim. Romans 12, verses 1 through 2. The Greek word for renew is, and I might mess this up, so please forgive me ahead of time, anakenosis. Strong's G 342, meaning a renewal, renovation, complete change for the better. From Strong's G 341, anakenu, to cause to grow up, new, to make new, new strength and vigor is given to one, to be changed into a new kind of life as opposed to the former corrupt state. It is our mind that we need to cause to grow up and change into a new kind of life. But often what prevents that is the already corrupted state that it's in. It needs to be cleansed and conformed to the image of Yahweh. Our brains function like computers. A mind maintains a kind of track that never leaves after a method of thinking has become ingrained, unless shot or forced off. Furthermore, before a new way of Messiah can be established, the mind must first learn new ways of thinking, new trains of thought, and new actions where we can be truly free. As Paulo says, now Yahweh is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of Yahweh is, there is freedom. 2 Corinthians 3, verse 17. True objectivity is not possible for the carnal mind. The spirit or the flesh influences our thoughts. For those who live according to the flesh set their mind on the matters of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit on the matters of the Spirit. For the mind of the flesh is death, but the mind of the Spirit is life and peace. Because the mind of the flesh is enmity towards Elohim, for it does not subject itself to the Torah of Elohim, neither indeed is it able. And those who are in the flesh are not able to please Elohim. Romans 8, verses 5 through 8. Every follower of Messiah must contend with two issues in their mind. First, they must root out and destroy the practice tracks of thinking that they may have never realized are bondages. And without the Spirit's help, they cannot do this. Second, they must seek new roots of the Spirit in the mind of Messiah. Again, as Paulo says, we have the mind of Messiah. 1 Corinthians 2, verse 16. We must know that if we're walking as Yeshua did, then we have his mind in us. The carnal mind resists giving up control. The Messiah's mind within us, the Messiah's mind is within us, and is a source of limitless knowledge. However, we need to let go of our thought patterns and develop strategies to let Yeshua's mind permeate every channel of our thinking process. Now, the way we transform ourselves into that thinking is through the Torah, Yahweh's instructions. This means that the mind will have the external and internal warfare. Our minds are like Herod, who would kill the Messiah in us if it could. Ironically, our mind's job is to guard and keep us on the right path. This is why we have the Spirit, so he can rule over us. But the mind will not again let go of its rule. Our mind is like the man of lawlessness who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called Elohim or that is worshipped, so that he sits as Elohim in the dwelling place of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 4. So our carnal mind exalts itself above all that is called Elohim. Why? So that it sits as Elohim at Yahweh's place, showing itself to be Elohim. Naturally, the mind's function is to merely suppress the additional senses that might otherwise overwhelm us. If it didn't, we would be in turmoil while attempting to react to a large number of stimuli all at once. Our minds also believe that the Messiah poses a danger to the throne it currently occupies. It has no faith that the Spirit will perform as well as it can. Furthermore, the mind must die, which it will not do in order to give up control. And the real issue isn't the fruits we bear, but who is in charge of assisting us in bearing those fruits. The struggle is really for headship, and the primary purpose of the Spirit is to install Yahushua as master in every area of our lives. He came to deliver all those who throughout life were held in slavery by fear of death. Hebrews 2, verse 15. And it is the threat of death to our supposed self-control, our carnal minds' predominance over all that we think and do, fear of what awful things we suspect we might do if we let go. This is what chains us to a lifelong bondage of our fleshly way of thinking. It is interesting that Yahushua was at Pale and Golgotha, the skull, the residence of the mind, the first and last residence of sin in mankind. And this is the place where our Master expects us to die, as he tells us, if anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up a stake and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life shall lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. Matthew 16, verses 24 through 25. When we keep the carnal mind, mental self-control, we place self on the throne and succumb to Satan's temptation all over again. And whoever lets go of the throne finds wisdom, for the mind set on the Spirit is truly attuned to the things of the Spirit. What we have to realize is that roots lie beneath the surface, and we have to allow the Spirit to lay the axe to the roots of our sin nature, as Yochanan, or as he's commonly called John, aptly warns us. The axe is already laid to the root of the trees. Every tree, then, which does not bear good fruit, is cut down and thrown into the fire. Matthew 3, verse 10. However, many are unaware that there is a root system in our minds to begin with, and had not fully grasped Yahweh's way of healing. The need to wage battle to defeat ingrained thought patterns, nor the necessity of creating new thought patterns. It takes more than just making a conscious decision to alter our thinking. Our minds have deep ruts or long practiced ways of thinking, which are different to get out, or difficult to get out of. When we first learn about Messiah, we frequently think, aha, we get it. The truth is, we don't have it. Our minds start down new paths, yet the old ruts remain in place. The carnal mind is hiding behind old ruts and trying to take back power. In fact, those old ways of thinking and feeling which come back to haunt us have no true reality. It is the mind trying to pry its way back onto the throne. They are simply habitual ways of thinking and feeling, not what the born-anew believer really thinks and feels at the moment, Although the carnal mind would have you believe it is, as Paul says or tells us, I have been impaled with Messiah. It is no longer I, and no longer I live, but Messiah lives in me. Galatians 2, verse 20. Also, if Messiah is in you, the body is truly dead on account of sin, but the spirit is life on account of righteousness. Romans 8, verse 8, verse 10. We're not to give our old thoughts and feelings life and power, nor are we to give them the right to possess us and thus resurrect them. And that is the first lesson here. And that is not to believe old carnal feelings and thoughts after we have been born anew with Messiah in prayer. Please understand that old thoughts and feelings will return. And if we believe that they are what we feel or think, then we will have our problems back again. The purpose of the old self is to regain mastery over you. And your old feelings and thoughts have a life of their own and need to be impaled with Messiah. Our practice ways of thinking and feeling, which resurrect after being slain on the tree, are precisely that. The ways we used to think and reason as a child, we are to put them away, as Paulus tells us. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I thought as a child. I reasoned as a child. But I became a man. I did away with childish matters. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 11. When under stress, we frequently fall back on our old routines. Although they might not have worked and may have even served as prisons, at least they were comfortable. By reverting to them, we have given our carnal mind control over the reins of our minds. Sometimes we feel that is much safer, even if it means that our emotions and thoughts are out of control, but in reality it is a very lethal poison. But remember that we have the mind of Messiah. He is within us, which means that we need to learn to discipline and recognize when we are resurrecting old fallen practices, so that we can impale them on the tree and let them die. For this reason, Paul wrote, I affirm, by the boasting in which I have in Messiah Yeshua our Master, I die day by day. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 31. Neither our feelings or thoughts want to die or let go of their control over us. Our carnal mind refuses to lie down and quit just because we have the Spirit inside of us. Because the mind of the flesh is enmity towards Elohim, for it does not subject itself to the Torah of Elohim, neither indeed is it able. Romans 8, verse 7. Our thoughts have a life of their own, because they are hostile towards Elohim and cannot submit to the Torah. And as we allow the Spirit of Yahushua, the Torah, to enter our minds with his thoughts, the carnal mind starts to fall from its throne. However, be aware that the carnal mind is a separatist, and that it will fight back, looking for any excuse to rebel against sound judgment. The separatist seeks his own desires and breaks out against all sound wisdom. Proverbs 18, verse 1. It will attempt to engage us in pointless arguments, cunning sophistries, and skepticism, trying to involve us in foolish questions which we are to refuse. But refuse foolish and stupid questions, knowing that they breed quarrels. 2 Timothy 2, verse 23. You see, it is a lack of trust in Yahweh that our carnal mind uses to retain authority and gain access to the throne of our lives. It started in the womb, when our spirit was shocked by the waves of humanity's sin. We were shattered by mankind's invading and destructing sin and sicknesses. And because of sin, we have been saying to ourselves, where was the Creator in all of this? But the truth is that He was always there with us, even in the womb. Before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And before you came out of the womb, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1, verse 5. However, we lost the ability to understand this truth. And until Yahweh gives us the gift of favor in our lives, we are unable and unwilling to trust Him and will instead submit to our carnal thinking. And beneath that built-in mistrust of Yahweh is the fear that our faith won't prove to have worked at all. So when our old ways act up again, that proves to our doubting minds that what we always thought all along, it doesn't work. Our carnal mind uses this lack of faith over and over again to try and get back on the throne. The tragedy is that so many followers of Messiah have never understood the necessity of stating that they are no longer who they once were. They were never able to comprehend the ongoing struggle to control their own thoughts and emotions. So they seem to have no choice but to point the finger and yell at either Satan or Yahweh as they fall helplessly back into their past problems. Listen, dearly beloved, the main issue we face is not Satan or Yahweh. We are the problem. Because it states, my people have perished for lack of knowledge. Hosea 4, verse 6. The solution to the problem of resurrecting our carnal mind is simple. Just recognize its games. You don't have to struggle with these thoughts. Just merely relax and say to yourself, that's not what I really feel or think. And I don't have to wrestle with that or give it any power. I choose to give that over to Messiah, who was impaled for me. And who I am is found in Messiah, Yeshua. I will ignore these thoughts and feelings until they go away. Then pray to Yahweh and say, Yahweh, I choose your ways, and I banish these old thoughts from my heart and mind. Pray these things until the Comforter comes that fills you with His Spirit, and thoughts and feelings flee. Don't try to make this happen all at once. Our carnal minds would love to toss up junk just to try and regain control. Just relax, let go, and simply enjoy your new life with Messiah and Yahweh. Hallelujah. Next time, Yahweh willing, we will continue on renewing our minds and learn the way Yahweh heals. If you like this teaching, please comment, like, share, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification button to be notified of the next teaching. Yahweh bless, and shalom to your homes.